Over the last 5 years, our organic marketing agency building brands for company has generated over $100 million in tracked client revenue. So we're going to show you high level strategy. How do you become the number one brand in your industry? How do you convert as many of those views into customers, and the entire process that it takes to become number one in your niche and make a ridiculous amount of money? So first, this is one of our clients, and this is actually in the past 365 days. We just have everything laid out. We have $20 million in opportunity value, 60,000 leads. He has a very in-depth funnel that we're going to show you in a second. And we'll start with the funnel, and then we're going to go into how do you actually get the views to begin with. So let's explain how do we convert these views into customers for this client.
So in reality, the funnel that we do for this client is actually not as complicated as a lot of people will think. So I'm going to show you guys a funnel that we did for one of our clients that actually did not generate 20 million. And at first glance, you would imagine that it actually generates a bunch of money because you're looking at it and like, wow, this is a very, very in-depth funnel. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. But in reality, this converts way less. And the reason as to why this is because there's too much going on. Funnels that convert the best are the ones that are the simplest and the ones that the consumer can digest the easiest. You want to make your funnel a step-by-step process that even a baby could follow, which I guess at first glance is counterintuitive because you want to have a lot of upsells, a lot of downsells. But when in reality, what you really want to focus on is having one main product that you're known for and having one main thing that you can collect people's information with. Alex Ramosi is a perfect example of this. He has obviously his main acquisition channel where he makes a lot of his money is via acquiring companies and exiting them and just buying into them. But he only has one lead magnet. For this funnel, we had 7 different lead magnets, but we've now transitioned to one. And with one lead magnet, we're actually converting 10 times better due to the fact that, it's what he's known for now. It's a 30-day tax cut playbook. That's the lead magnet that we're ripping. And we're only selling one product now, one main product that he's known for. And we have a unique mechanism around it. So in reality, it's actually in the basics. It's the simplest funnels that convert the best. I'm going to show you guys that funnel now. So this is the current funnel that we're doing for him now. A very, very simple VSL funnel. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So we post content, we send everybody into a lead magnet, and then from that lead magnet, we redirect them into a VSL to a checkout. And then we have a very simple 3 to 7 emails, depending on as to how much indoctrinating you need to put the lead through. If they come from the Instagram, you usually need to put them through more indoctrination, around 7 emails. But if it's from a YouTube video and they're more warmed up, 3 emails is around where you want to be. But what a lot of people don't know is that any funnel is useless without content and without traffic. So now I'm going to shift over onto Josh. What do you think the number one thing is that helps us drive as much traffic as possible into these funnels?
So the first step is we work and partner with actual experts. So this is that person's channel. In the past year, we've done 25 million views. Let's just say if you have a business, if you're a plumber, if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you're real estate, if you are in really any niche, if 25 million people were interested in what you did and they spent 3 million watch time, 3 million hours consuming information about your business, what would that be worth to you? Well, it's substantial because you don't realize these 25 million people are actively choosing to watch videos on you promoting your business. And you're actually getting paid, in this case, almost $160,000 to do it. So this is building a brand in your industry can be one of the most lucrative things online. And so the first stop is being an actual expert. If I was making videos with the exact same title thumbnail, with the exact same packaging as this client, would you listen to me? No, because I am not an expert of 30 years in my field with an actual company around it. And so doing the thing and then teaching it is really the only way to have exceptional outsized returns, because you are leveraging the credibility that you have done in the past. You are packaging it in a way that is interesting to your ideal customer, as well as many people as humanly possible. I see so many marketing companies saying the riches are in the niches. That might be true, but would you rather have 20, let's say this in the past year, instead of doing 25 million views, we did 2 million views. It would still be excellent. That'd be 180,000 views per month. But if those 180,000 people, let's say of those, all of them were your ideal customer, so many people that learned about your stuff, that became interested, that could be potential buyers. That would be amazing. Well, let's say we did, instead of the 2 million views, we did the 25 million views. And of that, because we're trying to capture as large of an audience as possible while still maintaining the direction of the content towards your ideal customer, instead of 100% of them being the ideal customer watching, let's say it was only 50%. If you take 50% of the people, you end up getting 10 million people that saw your stuff that are potential customers that otherwise would never have been, that otherwise would not have been interested because you were limiting your growth. So usually when you start and you create a channel, you want to be hyper niche, but you want to become dominant in that niche and as credibly quickly. And for this client, we did it within probably the first 90 days because he was such a small niche. And so within the first 90 days, we became the person. And then after that, you want to broaden out and continue getting more and more new people to learn about your product and service, because there's way more people that are potentially interested in your product and service than you could possibly dream of. So it starts with leveraging your credibility. The title and thumbnail is by far the most important thing, but that comes after what the video video idea is and how can we leverage a video idea that's interesting to our dream customer, but as well as a wide variety of people. And then you have a title and thumbnail that is curiosity driven and building a degree of tension that makes someone interested and want to click on it. And then the video structure is starting with proof as to what you said, and then adding an additional layer of promise as to why someone should watch the rest of the video, and then delivering on that with your actual expertise. This would not be possible if we were working with experts. We do not work with guys that sell info products. We work with guys that are running massive law firms and they want law customers. We're working with guys that have massive tax companies, massive real estate companies. When you are actually doing the thing, then people want to give you money. What is really a dying trend is people selling information. All of these info guys, I think, are going to have a substantially harder time making money. You're really pissing uphill in the wind and it is coming back at you, and it is very hard to monetize because most of these 25-year-old kids are not the world-renowned expert in what they're doing, and people are only willing to pay so much for information. People want implementation. And so there's actually, when you think about social media, it's a lot of it is just supply and demand. How much demand is there for great tax information content? There's a lot. How much demand is there for real estate content, for economics, for business, for all of these things? There's a ton. How much supply is there? Well, there's quite a bit, but how can you position yourself as a unique angle that there's no supply of? If you've ran a business for over 10 years, you have unique experiences and your business provides unique solutions to people that is not on the internet. And so you can actually create demand with no supply, being a one of one in your niche and utterly dominate. And that's how we are able to take the entire markets and create markets out of nothing for businesses. Because if you have a business and you actually are providing a service and your customers are very successful and they just need a high degree of trust before they make a decision, becoming the number one brand in your space is literally the best thing to do. Because what that does is, one, it gets you a ton of customers. Two, gives you a ton of authority. It gets you onto other people's shows and it gets other people interested in what you're doing. And then it's so much easier to have that word of mouth referral system.
Yeah, I agreed. And something else that I feel like is extremely untalked about is the quality of the traffic that you get as well. Like, for example, the funnel as to which I just showed you would not convert at the level as to which it converts if it was just a straight paid ads funnel. And that's a huge mistake that we were doing, is we were doing this exact funnel for short form and it converted at 1.5%. So if a content creator or no, a business owner had to focus on one style of content, what would you advise them to just double down on?
Well, it's going to be what you're good at and where the supply and demand curve is. Because the thing is, what is the constraint of your business? If it is selling an e-commerce product that is super low ticket, then TikTok might be the best option for you. But if you have a very high ticket product that requires a lot of trust to make a decision before someone purchases, like what accountant you're going to go with, or a tax strategist, or if you're going to invest with someone, especially if you're raising money, or if you have a very high ticket asset protection, it doesn't matter. If you have a high ticket product that requires a lot of trust before someone makes a decision, and long form is unequivocally the best, and there's not even a second. The problem is it's harder to grow. But if you are good, then because it's harder to grow, you are going to have less competitors and you are able to create moats of your own. And let's say on average, you need to have a few hours of someone before they are willing to make a decision to go with your firm, and they're going to do a ton of research on you. There is really no better way in the entire world than if they watch a 30-minute video. And just to prove it to you, we started this channel within the last 7 days, where we are just documenting what we've done for our clients of building their brands and starting to convert all those views into customers for them. And we have had 2 inbound qualified leads that have turned into customers for us. And that is from a micro channel that we just started, where all we are doing is leveraging what we've already done with our current clients. And so if that is not proof in the pudding, this is now a hyper profitable channel. So guess what? We are going to continuously make more videos showcasing what we have done, because it's very easy for us, because we have done this. And so it's easy to talk about things that you've already done. So you basically get paid to be the absolute expert, and that leads to growing the business substantially.
Yeah, so I guess in a summarized version is reverse engineering as to what your main objective is, in terms of, like, you're going to start a channel. What do you want to do with that channel? Obviously, you want more sales, and then from there you can see what strategy is best suited for you to maximize your sales. Because if you're an e-commerce brand, I mean, long form, I don't think long form will ever hurt anybody. I think if you can't post long form, there's no downside to it. If anything, you can clip it up. But the strategies differ versus, like Josh said, if it's a real estate syndication versus if it's an e-commerce.
So if you were starting as a business and the goal was to build the number one brand, I would say from a first step course of action, first define who your dream customer is. What are their demographics? What do they look like? What are they fears? What are their desires? The same way you would with any marketing channel. Then you are going to make videos directly helping that dream customer of, let's say, a 45-year-old person that has a $2 million net worth, that has a tax problem. Okay, well, what is that person thinking about? What is going on in the world that is impacting that person's decision making right now? And how can we leverage your credibility and the credibility of what's going on with other people to make videos on that? And then it's, how do you package that in a way, when I say package, I mean title, thumbnail, and that's what you click on for a video. What do you get them to click on that is provoking a degree of curiosity or tension, urgency as to why they need to make a decision now towards whatever it is that your offer is? And then in the video, you are going to leverage your expertise by showcasing that you really know what you're talking about by giving hyper specific examples of what you've done before, as well as hyper specific tactics that people can actually do right now that will give them highly beneficial outcomes. And then in the video, you would give a call to action to more free resources that you have. So if me and Moses were intelligent, we would have a free resource right now that would be a step-by-step playbook for you to build a brand right now. And then from that brand, you would be able to convert those views into customers. If we were smart, we would offer that for free right now, and you would be able to use the link in the description to sign up for it. And in exchange for that, we would have your email and your phone number. And then we would redirect you to a sales page of a qualifying form saying, well, what kind of business do you have? What is your current struggles right now? And then after that, it would redirect you to a phone call, and then we would get on the phone, and then we would see if we're a good fit to work together. We currently are not doing that. And so do what we say, not what we did, mainly because we literally just started this with no real intention except for really bringing awareness as to what does it take to grow a channel substantially. And we want to first prove it by growing the channel substantially, and then we will talk about how we grew it substantially. But anyway, then you are going to make these in detail videos. You do not need to worry about hyper detailed editing. People think you want a ton of edits. The purpose of editing is to visually explain what you are saying to help the viewer understand the concept better, because viewers are not relating how good a video is by how good your information is. They're relating it to how well they understood the information. So the goal of editing is to help the viewer understand the video better and to simplify it to the highest common denominator so the most amount of people can be interested in this video. And then you are just going to hyper prioritize the 80-20 rule on the topic. What is the idea for the video? What is the title, thumbnail? What is the hook? And have a decent format. And it is a matter of when, not if, you are going to grow substantially, as long as the strategy is good, as long as the packaging is good. The hard part is knowing what good is when you are starting.
Yeah, what would you say the biggest mistake is that businesses and I guess people starting a channel?
Most people think that good content gets rewarded when that's not true. We have taken on so many clients that literally have been making videos every single week for years on end with zero results to pay for it. The problem is YouTube does not care how good your video is. They only care if someone clicks on it and if they watch it, because you have to think about, how does YouTube get paid? YouTube gets paid by people staying on the platform. And YouTube is different than any other social media, where if you're on Instagram, you are passively scrolling and you are fed a video. And if it's a good video with a good hook, it will get rewarded in the algorithm and it will continuously get pushed. But YouTube, you have to make a cognizant decision. There's 3 other videos being pitched to you at the same time. Why am I going to watch your video as opposed to the other 3 videos? Well, there's a topic, an idea around that video that's more interesting than the other ones, and that is displayed within the title, thumbnail. So you choose to watch the video, and then the content keeps people. But it is feasibly impossible to grow over a long period of time if you do not understand the basics of growth on YouTube, and if you are not playing the game, and if you're not thinking of better ideas, and if you're not packaging them in a good way. And so I've seen this time and time again. That is by far the biggest mistake that people make.
Yeah, and then your views are pointless if you're not driving them anywhere. So have someone where they go. It doesn't have to be. The thing is, we overcomplicated at the start. As to like how we started this video, is you don't have to send them to a crazy website. Just a simple landing page with a headline, and that headline has to tell them what are they getting, and then a form. That's really it. Especially if it's a long form video, you really don't have to convince people as to why they should.
They're already
give you the
convinced
information.
because
Exactly.
they've watched you for 40 hours and they know, like, and trust and believe that you have the solution to their problem. If you actually have a business model where you are talking about what you are doing, it becomes very easy to convince people that you have the solution. And so these super complex funnels are really just trying to get the bottom feeders that are probably not going to get the best results out of your product. We want to find as many people that are our dream customers come to us and be interested in what we're offering, not having to force every single person to buy. And perfection is in the simplicity. So the 80-20 rule funnels is have the best offer in the entire world. We will A/B test our lead magnet funnels at all time with the headline of the lead magnet. Why should someone even get this free resource? People think just because they're giving away a free resource, people should be ecstatic. No, they don't care. They only care what they're getting. We are serving our customers and we are serving our leads. And so what is our KPI for the lead magnet? We should be having 50% of YouTube traffic convert for a lead magnet. That means if 100 people go from a YouTube video to the landing page and they see the offer, 50% of them should be getting the free resource. That means we should have 50 new emails and we should have 50 new phone numbers, and then we can market those people on our services. But if you don't track it, you will never know what to change. We know what our funnel needs to convert at. We know what our book a call sequence needs, what our show up rate needs to be. We know what our closing rate needs to be. And that is for every single client. And then when you have these numbers and you have the math, growing becomes very economical because you know what numbers you have to drive and what needs to be improved at all times.
Yeah, it's just feedback loops from data. I'm curious, Josh, if someone was first starting a channel and they had an existing funnel that sucked and was converting, well, yeah, I guess they had a website and they didn't know as to what to put their time on, what would you tell them to focus on?
Well, I would think you have to diagnose what currently gets you customers and what are you doing that is working and why can't you do 100 times more of that? And the answer might not be doing content. It might be every single time you go to a conference, you close 2 clients or you start to get customers. Well, is the answer doing something new or is it going to a conference every single week? That could be the answer. If you got to diagnose what your issue is and see if you have a path to solve it. And then if it becomes too expensive, that's when can I do it better? And if you can't do it better or you don't know how to do it better, sometimes that's when you need to figure out something new to do.
Yeah, and then whenever you do discover that, it's focusing, like for example, if it is content and it is what we're talking about, then mastering the basics for it. So for example, for a good YouTube video, if you understand what makes good packaging and what makes someone click, and you understand what makes a good video and what keeps people's attention, and you understand the basic fundamentals of a good funnel, then you will make money. It's literally impossible. You don't have to learn the ins and outs of it. You don't have to become a master. If you can master the fundamentals and the basics, then you will make money. It's inevitable.
And this is not easy though. It takes a ton of time
Certainly
commitment.
not.
It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of resources. For one of our clients, we have 9 full-time people working on someone's brand. It is substantial amounts of effort. And so it is every single person that says that this is going to take you 1 to 2 hours per month, they are lying to you, or you are not going to get the result that you were expecting. And think about the top people in the space. How much time commitment are they spending on it? It is almost always over 5 hours per week. We try and maximize the time value of our clients, but for this to work, someone has to actually want to make it work. And that's one of the other problems that we've had. People try and do this passively, and it is a hands-on game if you want exponential growth.
Yeah, if you don't want to put time into content, just don't do content. We had a client who would put in 30 minutes a week in
And
terms
so
of
we had to fire him. We had to cancel with this client because they were not willing to put in the effort that was needed. And as you can see, though, it can become one of the most profitable avenues, but it takes time. This is not something that is instantaneous, like paid ads. We love paid ads. We run a ton of paid ads for our clients, but not until we have an organic offer that is already working. But once you have an organic offer that is working and you start to run ads, it is pouring a ton of gasoline on a massive fire and it becomes one of the most disgustingly profitable events. So in the last 5 years for our clients, we've generated over $100 million in tracked revenue. And that is incredible, but it really doesn't mean anything if you can't get views. So if you want to see a more detailed video as to breaking down one of our clients' full YouTube channel and how we get them millions of views every single month, you can watch this video here.